The surgical treatment. This piece really found a way to take a very stressful scenario, being in the hospital, finding the status of a patient after a surgery, and kind of created like this bit of comedy to go with it. I like how we go from this very realistic scene, this doc explaining everything, and I thought when I was watching it, wow, he's really thorough in his explanation, which I think is obviously purposeful. In very high level medical terms, very very realistic portrayal of a doctor. And then we have this unorthodox acts for this treatment to re-describe everything. And I like how the daughter is like the translator, voice of reason for her parents, the realists in this bunch, to take like the things that they're saying and turn it into like realist terms. And I like how each character has a specific point of view that really pushes the comedy. And something I just thought of is just like when you're thinking about doctors, there's doctor terms and there's layman's terms, right? And I feel like in the same way with this couple, they have things that they say, and the daughter basically presents it in the layman's terms, like what they really mean, in the same way like you would want this doctor to explain something to you in a tone that you can understand. So I thought that was also another bit of comedy that I just picked up on just now.
The surgical treatment. I thought this was really interesting to watch. I definitely liked the kind of what felt like a satire approach to it of not this man performing the surgery, they're obviously their son, their kid, making it out, having a good prospect, even though it was like a very intense surgery. That none of that was like quote unquote like good enough. He also had to like write up this whole thing, and the way that he like broke it down from his point of view under the assumption that he had no idea what it was, and somebody explaining it to him as if it was like a brand new procedure or a brand new technique that he needed to now implement, I thought was a really interesting, and it made me kind of curious of how many other things that we do in maybe not like my day-to-day life or your day-to-day or anyone's day-to-day life, but like if you're a doctor, that could be a part of their day-to-day, like if you're a surgeon, that could be part of their day-to-day life. How many things that we do that if they were explained to us as if we had no idea what they were, would we find insane, would we find absolutely ridiculous. And the reason we're doing it is because the expectation is that we were always going to do it, and it was always just assumed, and that this was a part of something that we had to do, or we just did it this way because that's how it's always been done, or how it developed into, how kind of became or was created, and that's just the way that it's done now, that it was never improved upon or revisited or anything like that. It did get me thinking of how many of those things do we encounter on a day-to-day life.
Surgical treatment. Okay, this was a very short film, but it's funny because even though it deals with very sensitive subjects, it does it explores them in an approachable way. And what's even best is that it tackles on the subject of how modern society sees and interacts with doctors and medical experts. All the absurd requests, all the pressure they put upon them. It's a very poignant short film. It's a bit dark, but it's funny nonetheless. So thank you for sending it.